We're learning that the playbook, and we've seen this, we saw this in Sri Lanka a few years ago, we saw this in Bangladesh last year when Sheikh Hasina, longtime ruler in Bangladesh, was ousted August the 5th, 2024. She was again escorted in a military chopper and given safe passage to India. Now the same playbook is playing itself out in Nepal. It is digital frustration, young people on social media venting about corruption, about inflation, about dynastic politics, about lack of jobs. It is exactly similar to what played out in Bangladesh last year and what played out in Sri Lanka a few years ago. The Nepalese youth turned against the existing political parties, the Nepali Congress, the UML, which was a ruling party, just like how in Bangladesh the young people rejected the established parties, the Awami League and the Bangladesh National Party. Both crises started with student politics, student movements, student activism, youth-driven digital activism, people who are upset with issues like corruption, inflation, unemployment and dynastic politics. And then there was firing. There was firing by either the police or the army in which young people die, and that becomes the tipping point. That really upsets the entire young people who were leading this protest. In Bangladesh too, there were young people who were killed in army bullets. And here in Nepal again yesterday, 19 young children. And as Darshan was reporting a moment ago, some of those children were wearing school uniforms. These are kids who are under 18 years old. They are minors who were shot dead by the law enforcement agencies. And that anger really is boiled over in Nepal, and today it's led to the ouster of the long-standing Prime Minister of Nepal. Anand has more details for us from the newsroom. Yes, Anand.
Yes, it is a similar playbook, and Manoj Kumar Gupta also outlining what we were also trying to put out here at CNN News 18. Zaka, dramatic visuals that are coming in from Kathmandu, where another house has been vandalized, set on fire, belongs to one of the leaders against whom there's been a long-standing grouse. But Colombo first, then Dhaka, and now Kathmandu. And if you were to see, it's a similar student-led protest. There was unrest and there was it was boiling over because of the lack of performance by the government, rampant corruption, mismanagement, law and order issues, joblessness, and overall a feeling of doom. And then something happens which becomes the trigger or a tipping point, and the students spill over onto the streets. Similar thing happened in Dhaka, similar thing happens in Kathmandu, and there seems to be a similar playbook the way it has happened. So whether or not there are larger forces at play, is there a geopolitical angle to it, is something that even you can weigh on, viewers, because there are influences, spheres of influences that were being exercised in and around the subcontinent in these nations. Pakistan perhaps stands out as an exception because it was not student-led protest, but then there was again PTM movement there for a long, and it was the youth who came out on the streets on behalf of Imran Khan, and then Imran Khan the government, an elected government, a sitting government toppled. So if you were to take Pakistan as an outlier, but then look at a similar trend with Sri Lanka, Colombo, with Bangladesh, Dhaka, and Kathmandu, Nepal, it's a similar effect that's happened. Is it because there are stronger geopolitical forces who are trying to wrest control and perhaps exact their sphere of influence in the subcontinent? And that's the thing. Interestingly, there are voices within Bharatiya opposition here, who have said that Bharat is not far away. Now, what does that mean? We'll park it for later. But right now, these trends which are happening in these nations is very similar to the Arab Spring that happened. It was one nation after the other, and it was like a ripple effect, and it was a similar kind of a change that was orchestrated in terms of regime change because of people coming out onto the streets, largely youth, and coming out wanting to reclaim what they claimed was theirs and oust long-standing misgovernance or those people who are playing musical chairs in terms of power, but oust them out totally and bring about a new order. Now, is there a Muhammad Yunus-like entity, person in Nepal who will be a neutral face who will come? We'll have to wait and watch. Sher Bahadur Deoba or his wife Aruba Deoba are names that are doing the rounds, although they have refused to speak about it. CNN News 18 continuously trying to stay in contact with them. But sitting ministers, when they start quitting, we know that the end is nigh. At 12, just 5 minutes past noon, here on CNN News 18, we told you Oli will go. And at 2:16, nearly just about 2 hours later, confirmation comes that KP Sharma Oli, despite trying to show some defiance and say that I'm not going to go, has had to make his exit, Zaka. And Are there larger forces at play? Is there a geopolitical angle to this where perhaps there is a deep state and there are certain entities who are effecting this regime change to reduce the sphere of influence of another, perhaps expansionist entity? Who's also wanting to compete for a toehold and also perhaps influence. That's another thing which a lot of people will now want to study in this region. And can Bharat remain immune to these forces? That's the other big question.
Okay. I also want to go across to Khushbu Oli, who's a journalist and somebody who has been reporting for us here at CNN News 18 over the last 48 hours. Khushbu, so the Prime Minister, Mr. Oli, quitting, he's put in his papers. Do we know where he and his family have been taken to? The army apparently has given him some kind of safe passage. What happens now? I mean, will there be a new government? Will there be an interim Prime Minister? In fact, Khushbu is a member of the Nepalese opposition party. What happens now, ma'am? What happens next in Nepal? The students are saying that they want nothing short of a revolution. They want a new kind of politics in Nepal. But what is likely to happen next?
Hi. First of all, I'm not a journalist.
Sorry.
And I am the Central Committee member of Rashtriya Prajatantra Party. So yes, the people have taken control over every area of this country, including our Singhadarbar, where all our ministries are there, Prime Minister's office is there, and as well as major locations like where the residences of the ministers, the parliament building, everything has been now is under, they have taken the leadership, the public. Now it's time that we come into a conclusion and decide what's going to be further, because all of our party members have resigned. Members of, the parliamentarians have resigned. Parliamentarians from independent party have also resigned.
No,
So
what do the
now I
students
think,
want? What do the young protesters want? One is, of course,
the young
justice.
protesters want a new government with
Okay.
the involvement of younger generation, moreover. So I think we will need to, I think for now, to control this situation so that no more damage is done to the public property. I think army is also under a meeting. They're also doing meetings. So the situation needs to be controlled because protesters are everywhere.
Do we know anything
So,
about
and-
the army chief? Who is he? What? I mean, I believe there was a meeting between him and the outgoing
Yeah,
Prime
they're still under
Minister
meeting.
earlier
They
today.
are still under meeting. They are still under meeting. We have come to know that, they are still under meeting and they are trying to find a solution because the protesters are not willing to compromise for anything less. So probability of forming an interim government with the involvement of the younger generation much more, but it's not clear yet because there are lots of bodies involved, lots of, I think individuals who are trusted by the public need to take in charge. And I think it's nothing is clear as of now what's going to happen further.
We can see
but
pictures
everybody is
of the
promoting.
army trying to push back some of the younger protesters, some of the younger protesters also taking the lead and pushing back the others. We've also been hearing the name of Mr. Balen Saha. I believe he's the mayor of Kathmandu, who is an acceptable face to the young protesters. Can you tell us a little bit more about him?
Army has not taken any step towards, disrupting the protesters. So the protest is still ongoing because there are some demands from the youngsters. The protesters have some demands that need to be met. Mr. Prime Minister has already resigned. KP Sharma Oli has resigned, but that's not enough because we want him to be accountable for the deaths. We want this government, the people that were there to give order to kill the youngsters, they need to be held accountable. Now it's time to be, patient and take the legal way because they need to be held accountable, and we want to make sure the public wants to make sure that they do not flee this country.
Who
That's
are the
primary.
people who gave the order to fire at these students?
It has to be the Oli government. So he's leading the government. I mean, he has to be held accountable for this.
Okay.
He was
Okay.
the leader. He was the prime minister. So I don't think without his order anybody would have done that. So the entire coalition government that was heading needs to be held accountable, and their resignation means nothing to us. The main thing is they have to be held responsible and put to jail. They have to be prosecuted. That's of foremost important. So
Okay.
we might have to have an independent body that's going to, look into this matter, do the investigations and further do the processing. And as you said, yes, Mr. Balancha is a young mayor of Kathmandu and is quite accepted by the public. We've not had his opinions as of now after the protest has been successful.
Okay.
So we are waiting to hear what he has to say. I think he just has made a statement that I just checked what he had just said.
Sure.
He has requested the government, the people, to not destroy the
Public property.
the property of the public property, and has asked people to be patient. And I think there will be a new, fresh, conversations with the army. So we are looking forward. We are unaware yet as how it's going to proceed.
Okay, Khushbu Oli, thank you very much for joining us. She's from the RPP party. There were 21 members of Parliament of the RPP party who tendered in their resignations today, including some ministers. I also want to go across to